Okay, Dawn.
Hi, everybody. Hi, everybody. I'm Dawn Campbell, and I live in Arizona. So when Courtney and I met, we were in my hometown, and it was hot. Yes, Arizona's hot, but it was abnormally warm for the Lead the Way trip for sure. And our mouth and faces were covered in dust, and it was brutal, but we had a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun, and I'm so glad to be here with you guys tonight. So I'm in Arizona. It's a 3-hour time difference for I think for most of you guys. So for me, it's only 4 o'clock. So it's really daylight. It hasn't even hit dinner time. My kids are home from the summer. They're just on the other side of these doors, and they want me to go on a bike ride, but it's 100 degrees today. So I'm pretty sure I'm not going on a bike ride until the sun goes down. So I'm just very thankful for you guys all tuning in here. And I just want to congratulate every single one of y'all for being on this call, because I know when Courtney had emailed me and we had talked about doing this call, she had said what you guys were running for, and just for the growth and the excitement. And I think she said, did you guys have 16 new consultants last month? Is that right, Courtney? 16. So is that your highest ever?
Yes,
that was your highest.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, awesome. So that was your highest ever. And now, where are you guys so far? So what's today? June 12th? How do you guys look for June, the month of June?
So far, I think we're only at 2 recruits right now, but our pacing is we're just a little bit behind last month. So okay. We need to be jumping ahead, but I think we have a ton of events on the books and a lot.
Okay. Awesome. So that sounds good. Now that's the best part. Like right now, I know everyone thinks like, oh, summer months, it tends to slow down. I know y'all were just talking about vacations and where you're going and what you're doing for the summer, but it's also like the best time to start building up that momentum that carried over from May, and to really continue June off on a good foot. So I love that you talked about the events. But what I wanted to talk to you about today is leadership, and then what I would say are my big 3 tips for just this business in general. But for leadership, how many of y'all, and I know everybody's in a different spot with their business, how long you've had your business, what promotion title that you're at. I know everyone's in a different spot, but how many of y'all would say that you're a leader? Raise your hand. I can see almost everybody. If you're 1, 2, 3 people raise their hand. Now, I want everybody to right now practice raising their hand. Raise your hand and say, yes, I'm a leader. Okay, good. Now I see everybody. And that's what you should be. It doesn't matter if it's day 1, if it's day 10, if it's day 100, if it's day 1,000, if it's day 10,000. No matter where you are in your Rodan and Fields journey, you are a leader. Last year, I was at dinner with Heidi Wismiller, our Chief Operating Officer. It was not just the 2 of us. There was like a small group. And that's one thing we talked about was leadership. And we talked about what does that mean? And a lot of times people say like, oh, when you hit level 5, you're a leader. Nope. And that's one thing we talked about. No, leadership starts day 1. And that's one thing Heidi said. She's like, the day somebody says yes to Rodan and Fields is the day they become a leader, and the day that they give up their right to not be a leader anymore. Because you started your own business, you promoted yourself right up to CEO, you are a leader. So whether you're your team of just 1, you're just yourself, or a team of a gazillion, it doesn't even matter. You are a leader. And that is what is extremely exciting. And sometimes though, leadership is scary. Like it's fun and glitter and rainbows a lot of times, but a lot of times it's scary. And you think of, ooh, doesn't my leader do that? Or is that me? Are you looking to me to do that? Or are you looking to somebody else to do that? Leadership can be scary, or I think just the thought of it can be scary. So I actually looked up the definition of leader because I was like, I wonder what that means. Now, this is the thing about Google. You look up a definition and it gives you 4 million definitions. But I found one that I thought was exactly what I was looking for. It was short, to the point, and what the definition was it's a leader creates an inspiring vision for the future. And that's the truth. I think that that's what we do at Rodan and Fields. We create an inspiring vision for the future. And then that reminded me of that John Quincy Adams quote, which I'm sure y'all have read before, that says something along the lines of, I don't know it by heart, but says something like, if your actions inspire others to dream more, do more, and become more, then you are a leader. That totally ties into that. That is what leadership is. And the key to that quote, the key to John Quincy Adams' quote is actions. If your actions inspire others to dream more and do more and become more, then you are a leader. So that means you have to do something. You are the leader. You are setting the pace for your team. You are guiding them. You're locking arms with them. And that's, I think, the hardest part about leadership, is because once you, like day one, when you say yes to Rodan and Fields, you're probably never going to be that excited as you are when you say yes until you get a paycheck, right? Then you get a paycheck and you're like, oh, this actually really works. Okay, I get that. And then you start to get excited again. And you are all in mode of, I'm working my business. I'm talking to everybody I know about the products. I'm talking to everybody that I know about the business. And then you get a business partner. And then you're like, oh, let's do this. And maybe you're working alongside each other and you guys are all continuing to talk to people. And then maybe you get another business partner and your paychecks are starting to grow and you're like, gosh, this is really working. And then you turn to your team and you're like, this is what you need to do. Let me help you. I want you to get what I'm getting. So then you start to focus on, instead of everything here, you're focusing on everything here. But the problem is that leadership is you acting and them following and doing the exact same thing. That's how duplication starts. So you have to continue those actions. And we're going to talk about what those actions are. But before we get there, I want to just talk about what leadership looks like, because sometimes people get scared of leadership. So back in the day, let's think of leadership at Rodan and Fields is way different than anywhere else. And leadership, if you look at leadership just over time, like back in the day, probably when some of us were children, right? Leadership, if you thought of what a leader was, you thought of somebody that was probably maybe a little scary. They knew every answer. You went to them. They told you what to do. They knew every answer. You did not second guess them because they were the leader. So there was no questioning the leader. Even if they were wrong, you just did what they said. That was it. Leadership was intimidating and could be scary, and it was more like leading with fear. But in today's day, and especially at Rodan and Fields, we do not do that at all. We lead, think about what leaders that you love or yourself, how you lead. Probably lead with more empathy. You lead by showing the way, by guiding them. You don't just tell them what to do. You're doing it too. You're in the trenches with them, doing every single thing that you're asking them to do. You're not telling them to do something and then sitting back and just letting them do it all. No, you are right there with them. At the end of the day, we lead with love. I think that's what makes Rodan and Fields such a success, is we lead with love. And that's how the doctors even set up Rodan and Fields. That's how they started this company, was founding it on that principle. Leading with love, building this community, and that's what has made it such a success. That's what leadership looks like at Rodan and Fields. So what I ask you to do is think about how you're leading, and are you leading that way? At the end of the day, you can just lead with love and hope that every single person in your organization does the exact same thing. So the big 3 tips: are you acting? Are you doing these actions? Are you paving the way? If you look in the mirror, are you doing all of those things that you're asking your team to do? Number 1, mindset. So the 3 things are, the first one is mindset. It all starts with you. It starts with you believing in yourself, or most importantly, but you believing in the brand and in the doctors and in the products and in your team. But again, very first thing, believing in yourself. And letting that fear, any kind of fear that you have, whether it be fear of leading your team, whether it be fear of talking to someone, whether it be fear of hearing a no, whether it be fear of meeting new people, whether it be fear of not being enough, whether it be fear of not succeeding or fear of failure, whatever that fear is, getting that out of your head. The second that I worked with this leader last year, and she used to tell me, the second the F word ever enters my mind, I get it out as fast as possible. And those were the exact words that she said. And I was like, what do you mean by F word? Like, there's a lot of F words here. I need you to tell me which one you mean. And she was like, failure. The biggest F word of all of them. The second the word failure even enters my mind that I think I might fail at something, I kick it out of there, because that will cripple me. Just thinking about the what ifs or what could happen, or it will scare me so much I won't do it. And I was like, okay, I love that. I love that you can just swoosh it out of your brain. For me, I feel like the F word seems to enter my brain a little bit too often, that I can't just swoosh it out every single time. So now I've trained my brain. I think of it as a little different. I think of failure as awesome. Like, the more times I fail, the more times I'm headed towards success. So I think about it like that. Like, getting those failures is you getting towards that success that you want, because you can never succeed if you don't try. And yes, you might fail, but you can never, ever, ever succeed without trying. And I think there's like that, right, Thomas Edison meme out there that's like, oh yeah, he created the light bulb, but only after failing 10,000 times at trying to do it. And that's the truth. He didn't give up. The difference between successful people and unsuccessful people, and this is based on a study, but the difference is that successful people, we all have the same trials and tribulations and things that happen in our life. But successful people, they have something that blocks them, or something that gets in their way, or something that they don't know how to do, and they figure a way around it. They don't have that happen to them and say, oh, I guess this just wasn't meant to be for me. I guess I should just go try to find something else. No, successful people find the way to make it happen. That's what they do. That's the difference. So mindset, letting that fear, basically I tell everybody, punch fear in the face. That's probably my favorite saying. Punch your fear in the face, because you will win absolutely every single time. Has anybody seen this Will Smith video that's kind of popping up a little bit recently of him going skydiving? I see maybe one person has seen it. I could play it. Two people have seen it, I think. Okay, I'm going to describe it for you guys, because I think it talks about mindset and fear, and it's so awesome. So I'll act it out. I've got to put my acting head on. Okay. So you can just Google it. Google Will Smith skydiving interview. That's what you can Google, and it will pull up, and it is amazing. So he's on some interview, some talk show. I don't even know who it is. It doesn't even matter. But he's talking about how he went skydiving. Oh, good. Courtney's going to put it on the team page. It's awesome. It's like 5 minutes long. And so he's going skydiving, but how he even went skydiving was like a fluke. So he's out with his friends the night before. They hadn't even decided to go skydiving. They're having fun. They're probably drinking. And one of them's like, let's go skydiving tomorrow. And they're all like, yeah, let's go skydiving tomorrow. So then they party on throughout the night. And then he goes back to his hotel room, and he's in bed, and he's like, oh my God, we're going skydiving tomorrow. And he's freaking out, and he's so scared he can't even sleep. He's literally crippled in his bed, scared and fearful for skydiving the next day. And he's thinking, that's all right. They've all been drinking. They're probably not even going to remember. Well, in the morning, they all meet for breakfast, and they're like, we're going skydiving. And he's like, oh my gosh, what are we getting ourselves into? But of course, he has to be cool Will Smith, right? So he's not like letting it on. But he couldn't sleep the night before. He can't eat right now because he's so scared of what he's about to do. Then they go down to the skydiving place. And I've never been skydiving, but apparently you take this little class right before you go. And they're in the class, and it's talking about what to do and how it's going to work and what's going to happen and blah, blah, blah. And one thing they said is, well, if the parachute doesn't open, and he's like, This is an option? The parachute's not going to open? What do you mean? And he's freaking out. He can't enjoy a second. He's been so scared since laying in bed the night before. He can't even enjoy life right now. So they get all buckled into all their gear. They get up in the plane. They're sitting in the plane, and apparently right next to the door, there's these lights. It's like red, yellow, green. And right now it's on red, but it's going to go to green. And they don't really know what's going to happen when it goes to green. But they get up there, then all of a sudden the light turns green, and they open the door of the airplane. And he's like, oh my gosh, I've never been in the air with the door to an airplane open before. What is going on? He's freaking out. It's his turn. He stands up. He has his tandem person buckled to him, right? And they're standing, and he's looking. His feet are right at the ledge, and he's looking down, and he says, to death. I'm looking down to death at the foot of this airplane. And they're counting down 3, 2, 1. And he's freaking out. He's so scared. He doesn't know what to do. But this is the thing. The second that they fall out of the plane, that instant second, it is complete, absolute bliss. And the lesson to this whole story is that he was scared in bed. He was scared at breakfast. He was scared in the class. He was scared on the airplane. But nothing leading up to that point was actually dangerous. There was no reason for him to be scared. The only time that there probably was any kind of a reason for him to be scared or in any kind of danger is when he's literally falling through the air. But that time is the only time he actually had no fear. The second he was pushed out of that plane and falling through the air was absolute bliss. And what he said was, God places the best things in life on the other side of fear. And that is the absolute truth. And if you think about it, that's exactly like this business. That's exactly like life. That's exactly like skydiving. Everything is right. If you can get over that hump, if you can get over yourself, if you can get over that fear, that's where the fun and that's where the success can happen. But you have to be willing to punch that fear in the face. And that is all in your mindset, believing in yourself. So that's my number one. Number one, mindset. Number two, this is a big one. Work. That's it. Work. And that sounds so silly. This is the funny thing. Anytime anyone's ever struggling, we always sit down and we talk about what their schedule looks like and what they're doing and what their activity looks like and how many reach outs and follow-ups are they doing and how many people are in their funnel, how many three-way calls are they doing. And the fact is it tends to go backwards a little bit. The more you build up your team, the more you focus on your team and you're not working on your own self. And so what is really difficult and what you have to manage the most is working and continuing to work your own personal business. So that means doing your own reach outs, doing your own follow-ups, doing your own Facebook posts, going out for your own coffees and conversation, making sure that you're at your own events with your own guests. That is what is so important. And to make sure you are working your own business, you have to be doing it 80% of the time. So 80% of the time is your own personal business. And what that means is I have to use the easy numbers. So if you're working your Rodan & Fields business 10 hours a week, that means 8 of those hours need to be focused on your own business. After that, 15% of the time, so about an hour and a half, that's when you're coaching your team. That's when you're working with your directs. That's when maybe you're doing their three-way calls or when you're supporting your team. That's only an hour and a half of that 10 hours. And then that other little bit of chunk of time that's left, like a half an hour or so, that's personal development, making sure that you are really doing something for you. Increasing your own personal development, doing something that's for your mind or your body. So there's some saying that's like your success will never exceed the level of your personal development. So you have to make sure that you spend some time focused on just you. But for your own business, that's where the bulk is. So look at, if you were to, what I would encourage everyone to do is to track your time. Look at what your activities are every single week. How many times are you doing reach outs? How many hours are you doing that? Getting out there and meeting new people, building relationships, liking people's posts, posting on Facebook, doing three-way calls. How often are you doing all that? How often are you doing anything for your team? And add up all those hours, and 80% of the time should be on your own personal business. And this is the thing. There's no like secret. You're not going to get to some title like level 5 or RFX or something like that, and all of a sudden the doctors hand you this manual that says, now here's the secret. You got to this certain point, and now here you go. This is how you continue to make it a success. No, because the fact is, it doesn't matter if it's day 1 or day 1,000. The things that drive the business, the things that build your team, the things that build that growth are the exact same things for every single person. That's all about getting out there, meeting new people, doing some reach outs and follow-ups, building those relationships, and then repeat. That's it. That's what it's all about every single time. Now, the thing is the biggest piece of this would be recruiting. So you guys hit your top number last month of 16. What I would say is this month, shoot for 20. And then next month, shoot for 25. And do this as a team. Do this together. Like, have some kind of a countdown. Like this month, last month we had 16. This month we're shooting for 20. And everyone's working together to get to that 20. And then next month, shoot for 25. And then that way you're all working together and rooting each other on. And you're all growing and locked arms together. And we know that we're way more powerful and way more successful and way more excited when we're locked arms working together than when we're all alone. And the reason why I'm talking about recruiting as being so important is because it is. That's recruiting is the answer, right? The recruiting is the key. Everyone's heard of Tiny Rita, right? Their interests, not yours. Recruiting is the answer. That's what that acronym stands for. That is the absolute truth. And the reason for it is this. We all walk around with the Rodan and Fields Glow. We all use the products. We're using the products. I mean, the funny thing is, somebody asked me the other day, Dawn, what's your favorite product? This was like one of my friends was like, what's your favorite product? What should I order? They're like, what do you use on your skin? And 2 years ago, I would have been like, whatever I can find. Like, I wasn't really a skincare junkie, and that's even sad to say. And I apologize for that now to my skin. But today, when they asked me that, it was literally like 2 weeks ago, I was like, well, I use Reverse in the morning, and then I use Redefine at night, and I don't go to sleep without using my hydration. I use the lip serum, and I use the eye cream, and I use lash boosts, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I literally use like every product. And I mean, I travel a lot for work, and I bring these products with me. So like, I legitimately use these products all the time. That we are using these products. We all have the Rodan and Fields Glow, and these products sell themselves. They really do. We have the before and afters. We have the clinical results. We all have a story probably for every single product. So when you think about it, like selling the products, yes, it might be hard, but it's not extremely difficult because the products are that amazing that they sell themselves. But what doesn't sell itself is the opportunity. You have to talk about the opportunity for people to know about it. And yes, it would be amazing if we could get these products in every single person's hands in the entire world. That would be amazing. But do you want to do that alone? Or do you want to do that locked arms with as many people as possible to be able to get these products out there to even more people than you could do alone? Because your PCs are amazing. We know that like 75% of our revenue is all based on PCs. The fact is that the products are awesome. People get their hands on them. They don't want to stop using them. That's the truth. But we have to be able to talk about the products. And the more people that are talking about the products, the more that we can grow Rodan and Field as a whole. And that's all based on recruiting for sure. So every single month I encourage you, I would give you guys a challenge right now, like get to 20 this month. That's what I would say, get to 20. And then July, let's shoot for 25. And show your teams and show yourself that the summer is no place for slowing down. Like, we are just getting started. This is the best time. We just launched like probably my favorite product ever, hydration. So I'm in love with it. I don't know about you all, but I love it. Okay, so that was that one. And goals, absolutely celebrate. Part of working is making sure that you have goals. How many of y'all want to be RFX someday? Oh, wait. Oh, everybody raised their hand. Awesome. How many of y'all, I don't know where everybody's at. How many of y'all want to be level 5? Or is no, okay. How many of y'all just want to get better than you were last month? How many of y'all just want a little bit of an increase on paycheck? Exactly. You want to celebrate every single win along the way. You want to have those long-term goals for sure, but you're not going to wake up and have that long-term goal just happen. You have to have those short-term goals along the way to help you reach those long-term goals and celebrate them. That's why Rodan and Fields, I feel like, is the best place in the world to be, because we celebrate every single win. And that is what is so exciting. All right. And that all starts with just being consistent. So whatever you're doing, you have to be consistent. Working, what I told you is just getting out there, meeting new people, following up, building relationships, repeat. Those things, just keep staying consistent and do that over and over and over again. Try to fail as many times as you can. Try to get as many no's as you can and encourage your team, your directs, and yourself to do exactly that same thing. So work. All right, the third thing is encourage. I know the little timer is timing me down, so I'm trying to go fast. The third thing, so first one was mindset. Second thing was work. Third thing is encourage. We know that people start a Rodan and Fields business for a couple reasons. It might be, one of them might be money. Maybe they're trying to pay off some debt. Maybe they're just trying to make ends meet. Maybe they're trying to pay for a shoe fund. Maybe they're trying to pay for private school education or whatever it might be, right? Sometimes it's money. Sometimes people start because they love the products. They're using them and they're like, hey, might as well. I'm talking about the products. I might as well sell them, right? I love the products that much, like the brand and the doctors and the products themselves. Sometimes people start because of the community. Like they see people having fun and they're like, heck, I want to get on that. That looks like fun. I could use some more girlfriends, or any friends out there. Like I could use more people in my life. Those are reasons why people start their Rodan and Fields business. But why they stay is because of encouragement. They stay because of recognition. They stay because of the community. They stay because for the first time in their life, they are getting encouragement and recognition and little pats on the back and these friendships that they've never had in their entire life. I mean, I can tell y'all I've been working, and I'm not even a consultant, and I've been working since I was a teenager, and I've never had the kind of encouragement or praise or thank you that I have received in the last almost 2 years that I've been with Rodan and Fields. And I know it's exactly the same, if not more, for y'all, because you guys are the best encouragers that I've ever seen, ever. I didn't even know it was like a thing, like it was even possible. And now that you have that and you've seen it, being without that is like, you don't want to be without that. And that encouragement is what keeps people and what keeps people excited and happy, and they want to be there. There's a saying, and I wrote it down because it's really long and it's like my favorite. But this, I think it's John Maxwell that said this. A word of encouragement from a teacher to a child can change a life. A word of encouragement from a spouse can save a marriage. And a word of encouragement from a leader can inspire someone to reach their utmost potential. And that's the truth. Encouragement is literally life-changing. Something that people didn't even know existed is there. And that is what absolutely builds friendships and bonds and family-like relationships that cannot be broken. And those are absolutely, without a doubt, my 3 top things: mindset, work, and encouragement. But really focus on that consistency and giving yourself team goals to work towards, because you're all rooting each other on and making every single person's dreams come true. And that is exciting and awesome. And the fact that y'all have that opportunity, it makes me like giddy every single day that I even get to be here to sit here with you guys on your ride. So, but that's it. Thank you guys so much. I know we have 4 minutes and 39 seconds. I'm welcome to, if you guys want to do any kind of questions, or if you want me to answer any questions, if you want me to go into something a little bit more, I'm happy to answer anything for you.
Thank you so much. How about, would you give just a quick little like 2-minute thing on leading with the business? How to go about that, because I don't think that comes naturally to everyone. Like you said, it's easy to sell the products because they sell themselves. So just sort of like leading with the business.
I absolutely agree. I mean, leading with the business is, well, Michelle Lethem would probably not want me to use that exact words, but we know that you don't have to lead with the products, because the products completely sell themselves. People ask, has anybody ever had people ask them what they're doing to their skin? Every single person just said yes. That's the truth, because they do ask. People notice. You see physical changes to people's skin. So it is about leading with the opportunity. And sometimes sometimes you have to be blunt and forward. It depends on the kind of person that you're talking to. So I know, like, if I would be talking to somebody that maybe I haven't talked to in a while, I might say, hey, Courtney, I'm reaching out to you because this has changed my life and I have to share it with you. But that, I think, is more the exception. Most of the time, it is building relationships. That is the key. And I think I probably should have talked about this a little bit. The key is building those relationships and having as many touch points with people as possible, because we know that people are going to say yes. About 1 in 10 say yes to being a customer or a consultant alongside you. But it's not normally on the first go round. You're not like, hey, remember me, Rodan and Fields? And they're like, yeah, I'm in. That normally does not happen on the first go. Now it does. I bet you that there's at least one of you guys that said yes first time, right? Yep. Okay. Or maybe even reached out to somebody about it and you didn't even wait for somebody to ask you. You were like, I'm here right away. But the majority of people take about 8 to 12 reach out. Remember me, these products are so amazing. Remember, I don't know if you've seen it, but I have these posts all over Facebook. And that's a touch point. That might be one of your touch points, but what they could be is you just building relationships. You guys going out for coffee and not even talking Rodan and Fields at all. You liking a post on their Facebook page and putting a little comment, oh my gosh, that's the cutest birthday party I've ever seen. I mean, obviously being authentic and genuine, not like lying or anything, but building those relationships. Every single time you do any of those, you can count that as one of those touch points. And that is, I always tell people that this business makes us better people, because it makes us stop, notice people around us, notice things around us, and like try to make friends. I think that as we get older, we stop having dreams and we stop like looking for friendships. And that is where we kind of fail a little bit. But with this business, and you're doing that, you're building these friendships and you are building these relationships, that makes us better people. Because at the end of the day, if you could either get a good friendship or you could get a good friendship and a business partner, but either way you win. So it is all about building relationships. Now, as for specific language, I would throw that out to y'all to share what kind of language you guys use, because to be honest, you guys do that more than me. I could tell you what other people do, but you guys do that more than I do that. But the key is building relationships. And I know it's going to be done. So sorry I talked for too long.
No, that's fine. I just did a little upgrade thing because we have you. So did anybody else have questions?
You guys are quiet.
All right. Are we going to go for 20? Everybody on board to go for 20? Yes. Like more enthusiasm here. Yes.
I know. I'm be like, yes. Let's see this countdown. Once you guys get to 20, I don't know what could happen at 20. Like, maybe we could do another team.
Fun, like, yeah.
Something big.
Yeah.
But it can happen. It all just starts with you guys believing and working together and locking arms together. I think that's where I see the biggest growth, is where a group just like y'all come together and say, you know what? Let's do this together. I forgot who it was. 2 people in Florida just on Friday told me that they were the 2 first people like that really started in Florida. Who was it that told me this? I cannot remember. They just told me this on Friday. And Sarah Robbins had come down into the area and was like, hey, you guys should lock. They weren't on any kind of the same team or anything, but she's like, you guys should lock arms with each other and you can take Florida by storm and totally make it awesome. And then she leaves, and the 2 of them are like, we don't know each other and we're not on the same team. We have our own ways. We'll do our own thing. And then a few months later, one of them reached out and was like, hey, how's it going? Is your business totally rocking? And she was like, no, not really. And she's like, neither's mine. Maybe we should do that thing Sarah Robbins told us to do and lock arms and really like blow it up here in Florida. And that's when both of their businesses changed. Whoever it was that told me this is RFX. So the fact that I can't even remember who it was, I don't even know. It's driving me crazy. But they just told me that on Friday. And that's the truth. If y'all join together and say, you know what? I'm running. I'm in this. I want that level 5, or I want that whatever it is that you want. Like, I want that. We need to make it happen. Like, those serious runners should lock arms together and, like, not let anything get in their way. So setting up those accountability partnerships and really challenging each other every single week to do something different and big and blow it up, that's when businesses will change. Gosh, I wish I could remember who told me that.
It wasn't Susie Sheftel, was it?
It wasn't Susie.
She's in Florida.
I don't remember who it was. I'm going to have to think about it. Anyways, any other questions?
No. Well, thank you so much for getting.
You're welcome. Thank you, guys.
Maybe if we get to 20, we can get you back next month too.
You guys get there. It's happening. That's for sure. But thank you all so much. You guys have a really good night.
Thank you.